actually a funny story. This is my first full suspension bike ever, because I guess in 2006 I thought this was a downhill bike. And then in 2009 I got an invite to Crankworks, and I was like, everyone rides full suspension, so I need a full suspension bike. And then I was like, oh yeah, I remember that old frame I have in my garage. So I just dug it out, and it was actually a slopestyle frame-ish. The spring was obviously a bit too soft because I used this for downhill. So then my dad put an old Hope headset to push the spring together. And then I went to Crankworks, and I got third in Crankworks on what I thought was a downhill bike 3 years before.
You can be my flip-flop, baby drop, don't you stop swinging and around the roll. You can move it right. We're gonna roll all night. We're gonna scream in the sun, dance in the night away.
I mean, it's kind of a weird story actually, how Anton have just always kind of been around. I mean, in the beginning he was around when I was in the jump, like 500 meters from this house, and then when we went to one of the world's biggest contests, he was still there. So it was like actually not that big of a transition, but I guess it's kind of a cool story that we actually grew up almost next door, and now we're both traveling the world together. He's like a little brother, so it's sometimes super annoying, but most of the time very fun.
Yeah, I was definitely looking up to Martin because he was older and really good at biking already when he was like 15 and I was 11. He's kind of been like a mentor for me, like my whole career. Yeah, just learned a lot from him. This is the one I definitely use the most and spend probably every day on this guy for a couple hours. And then for some reason I have 3 downhill bikes, which does not make sense since like it's pretty flat over here and you don't even have anything to ride.
Throughout my whole career, people have always told me, like, how did you get to this point of riding when you basically have 6 months of winter and not that much to ride. And now when we have 2 people from Uppsala, it's even harder to explain why it actually happened.
I think it's like when you don't really have a spot at home, you're just so hungry when you get to a good spot and you're just trying to make the most of it when you're there.
Det här var typ det största som fanns, eller?
Det var det. Det var det största.
Nej, det kan inte vara det största.
Jo.
Var det?
Det
Nej. Det fanns inte en chans i världen att jag skulle köra.
Nej.
Yeah, the Uppsala BMX track is basically where I was born and raised. I probably have been rolling over every single bit.
I'll do some riding here for a couple hours and see what we can do. Yo, man. Sketchy as fuck.
So went down, I couldn't see you around. I left the city, breeze of the mountains, but the night had no pity. Shining my dreams, yeah.
There's not that many gaps that we haven't done yet. But yeah, the one in front of me is one I've been eyeing out for like about 5 years. Probably a 10-meter gap for one berm to a completely different part of the track. But I mean, sun is shining, so might as well send it, huh?
I need the bird with judgment day. Lord have mercy, pray for me, pray. So my sins be forgiven, so I can pass the test. See you again in heaven, where angels reign.
We don't have that many spots in Uppsala, and Alfta Bike Park is basically the only slopestyle course in Sweden. Yeah, it's a really good park with lots of different features, and if you want to practice slopestyle, it's the place to be in Sweden.
Yeah, the city of Uppsala just called me up and asked if I knew someone that could build a pump track, and I just told them that they came to the right place.
Och se till att öppna denna fantastiska pump track med ett klick.
Me and Martin went to school just over there. Imagine having that like every break in school instead of, well, I guess I was happy playing soccer back then, but still would have been cool to have that.
I have 3-year-olds all day riding the pump track, and the first thing Anton does, blow out the berm completely. Oh, kids these days, huh?
Super cool to see a bunch of kids coming out here, having a good time and just riding bikes.
So now hopefully the kids would have something to ride, which me and Anton didn't. Hopefully we can have a new Martin and Anton in a couple of years. In the next episode of Ride with the Swedes.
We've all been wanting to come to Scandinavia for a long time, but never been here. The Canadians invaded and it was a good time. We've all been wanting to come to Scandinavia for a long time, but never been here. The Canadians invaded and it was a good time.
This week has just been so fun. So many good laughs, so many good trails, so many good people, and it's just been awesome.
Pretty much it was one of the best road trips we've ever had.
Yeah, I've always known that Scandinavia got massive potential. Yeah, I mean, it's using it to the full potential to bring Coastal Crew, that is the sickest bike crew out there. Yeah, I just knew it couldn't go wrong. I've had in mind to bring Coastal Crew over to Scandinavia for a long time, and during midsummer the sun never really sets over here, so what better time to bring them over and ride day and night.
We had planned for quite a while that Coastal Crew was gonna come over, so it sucked that I ended up breaking my collarbone 2 weeks before.
So it all started out with a long drive to Hafjell. We showed up with perfect weather and everyone was just super psyched to ride. Macken showed up. He's been living in Hafjell for a while, so we know all the trails.
Shall we extend our trip even though we just got here?
Looks like a dreamland up here. 10 o'clock. Looks like it's time to go riding.
Let's go up the mountain! Oh, now we have to hurry with some good tunes. Now we're soon there.
Simon says no music.
No music!
This is the GoPro.
Yeah. Suck it, Simon.
But pretty girls keep lifting up their skirts. Everywhere I go, what am I doing here? What's anybody doing here? Is there anybody new in here? Everywhere I go, what am I doing here? What's anybody doing here? Is there anybody new in here?
Hafjell Bike Park is
famous from the Days of Thunder and also the World Cups that have been held there. But what some people maybe don't know is how awesome the bike park is there. Actually one of my favorite jump parks in the world. I'm actually quite proud to show the boys around and show that we can build some good stuff in Scandinavia as well.
Everywhere I go, what am I doing here? What's anybody doing here? Is there anybody new in here? Everywhere I go, what am I doing here?
This place is the old Days of Thunder scene in Hafjell Bike Park. Well, these jumps are pretty legendary. I don't think I've jumped this in like 7 or 8 years, so that's gonna be fun.
What's anybody doing here? Is there anybody new in here? Everywhere I go, what am I doing here? What's anybody doing here? Is there anybody new in here?
Remember what day it is?
I never know what day it is.
Fuck me neither.
Who are you trying to?
I couldn't answer that question. Kind of got tossed off his bike, hit his head a little bit. He seems to be all good, but he's gonna have to take it easy for a few days. So yeah, a little bit of a bummer, but we're glad he's all good. Loading up, Canadian style. Good 3 days at Hafjell for sure. We're gonna go to Järvsö and go have some fun there. Next up was Järvsö, and that for us was actually a really good learning experience because their hill is really similar to our park, our Coast Gravity Park at home, in size and in their vision and the flow of the trails, and they're basically what we want to be one day. So it was really cool to go there and check it out.
Now we can touch it, we can taste it. Can I get a little layman? No more running from the hangman. Now I'm the pilot of the spaceship. So you can touch it, you can taste it.
In Sweden we have the Midsummer celebration, which is basically that we celebrate the longest day of the year. Since I obviously couldn't ride, I called up Anton, who was also injured, and asked if he could help me out with the midsummer preparations. So when the boys were out riding, me and Anton prepared a traditional midsummer meal.
And I guess it was a totally new experience for the Canadians, because I don't think they do it as we Swedes do.
We embarked on a journey of magical dancing and meatballs and meat.
Actually perfect fit. 38 is your size.
A couple guys roll up with these stupid little Swedish dresses. 20 minutes later, we were dancing around celebrating midsummer in these goddamn Swedish dresses. Oh yeah, I'll remember that for life for sure.
Swedish Midsummer. We're never gonna be able to celebrate Midsummer without you guys. This is the best Midsummer ever. Midsummer at its finest, that's for sure.
My head finally started to feel a little bit better, but the midsummer party took pretty hard on my Canadian friends.
There is no way this is your fault.
in the next episode of Ride with the Swedes.